This time on Rad Rat Video, we're talking about all the tricks that are missing from sim games that they really need. Welcome back to Rad Rat Video, a channel about skateboarding and skateboarding video games and skateboarding documentaries and me skateboarding sometimes. And this time we are on my series Ask Rad Rat, where I answer your questions. First one is from Kyle Travis, who says, "Your trick tips / tutorials from 2005 and up pretty much taught me the fundamentals of skateboarding, so thank you for that." You're welcome. But besides skateboarding, what hobbies keep you busy in your day-to-day life? So yeah, before this channel, way back in the day, I started the channel in 2005 when I was in high school, just to upload stuff that I had made in my video class. We had in my high school, my actual high school was very small. My graduating class was like 107. So we didn't have any specialty type classes. We had like math, English class. Like they weren't even, you couldn't pick which kind, it was just English class, like that type of thing. And we had a deal, there's like the whole county could send kids to this other school for half of the day. I had like a video editing class that I was in there, and that kind of set me on my career. You could it was called interactive media. So there was video, we would design websites, we would do all that kind of stuff in that class. And so I made a YouTube, which was brand new at the time, 2005, to just upload stuff that I had made. There was the first video I put on there was a kid getting punched in the face. So I didn't film it, but I had the YouTube channel. So one guy borrowed a camera from the school. It was like a $3,000 like big broadcast camera, and he was just filming like him doing tricks on his bike, and then like paid somebody to let him punch him in the face. And so he had a video, and I put that on there. And I think at some point it got banned from YouTube for violence or something like that. I think it got taken down. But yeah, so I had a channel, I was teaching all kinds of tricks, and I started I only wanted to do obscure tricks. I wanted to do either freestyle or old school street, like bonelesses and no complies and stuff like that. Because I figured if you wanted to learn how to ollie and kickflip, you could learn that anywhere. I'm going to teach you the weird stuff that you're not going to find in other places. But when I taught kickflips, that video got 1 million views plus. It was 1 million back then. I don't know if it even still exists. I think that video exists on this channel as well. I ported everything over. Some of them got blocked by YouTube for copyright, as if I was stealing them from myself. But yeah, so that was his reference. I'm glad all that stuff helped. I used to really like doing that until everything got too hard. Like I taught all the basics, and going beyond that got to be a little bit difficult. But your actual question was, what hobbies keep you busy in your day-to-day life? The biggest thing I'm into right now is comic books. So I've been reading a lot. I've been collecting stuff, like getting really cool older stuff from when I was a kid or before. Like there's a Batman issue I have. It's Batman 423, I think. It's got a really cool cover, really iconic. It came out September 88, which is when I was a couple months old. Which, it's just cool. I really like having all this old stuff. It's fun to read something that's just terrible. You know what I mean? Like if you read a modern comic, which I do also, they try to make stories that are actually good. But the better the story is and the more realistic, it almost doesn't fit now. Like, why does Batman dress up with pointy ears if he's just a guy trying to stop crimes? Why does he make a custom Batman logo on his shirt and have a cape? Like it doesn't make any sense. But if you go back, if you read stuff from the 60s and the 70s, it's so ridiculous, the stuff that happens, that it kind of makes sense that there's guys dressed up in weird costumes. There's a issue of is it it was Green Lantern. And so what happens in this issue is there's a guy who lives in a different planet, in a different like time stream or whatever, and he can watch a special TV that shows what's happening on Earth, but it's like an hour later, so he can see things and then like go watch them happen on Earth. So he uses this to like gamble and get super rich, and then he comes to Earth with his money and he buys a house, and then the only thing that happens is the tax man comes and says, "Hey, how'd you get this house without paying any taxes?" And he shoots the tax document, and then the Flash decides, I was going to do a Green Lantern one about a shark that evolves into a man. But anyway, I switched to the Flash. Flash decides he needs to get involved because this guy's not paying his taxes, and someone else from his planet says, "Hey, if you do that, I've seen on our special TV, if you do that, you're gonna die." He's like, "Oh, I have to though. I need to stop crimes." So he goes anyway, and then he outruns his image. Like I can't explain how that works. He outruns his image. He unloads the guy's gun, catches back up with his image, and then pretends to be shot. And then he stops him. Like, it's ridiculous. It's the dumbest story I've ever read. Because there is one in Green Lantern where a shark gets really close to a nuclear reactor, which makes him evolve really fast. And then he becomes like a genius, super intelligent human, but he's got shark-like features. Like, this stuff is so dumb, but it's perfect for after work. I don't want to think about anything. I don't want to actually like focus and make sure I'm catching all the details. Like, it's so dumb that you can just kind of glance through it and get the gist of it, and it's fine. So that's one of my biggest hobbies right now. In different times when I'm not so busy, I do like to read actual books, but there are times when getting into comics is like the perfect thing. So I collect and I actually read some stuff too. I actually started an Instagram for it to try to get involved in the community, which is Rad Rat Comics is my new Instagram. There's no skateboarding on there, it's just comic book stuff, but that's kind of the biggest thing right now. But I have different hobbies that come and go. I like to draw stuff. I like to paint. I don't do it super often, but I do like to paint, and all kinds of other stuff, but those are the big ones. Other than this next question. So this is from Matthew, who says, do you enjoy video games outside of skateboarding games? If so, what are some of your favorites? I do, but I'm really bad at games. Not necessarily in doing the thing you're supposed to do, but in knowing what to do. Like, I get lost immediately in games. I can be in the tutorial of a game, and I'm standing right here, and there's a ledge, and it'll say like, press X to jump, and I'll find a way to get confused by it. Happens all the time. I get so frustrated playing every game. There's lots of games where you'll get really close to your goal, and then they'll say, and like the marker will disappear, and you just have to figure out how to get in, and it'll take me like an hour. I was playing Batman, the most recent one, and there's a part where you have like a hacking gun, and you shoot it at a computer, and you can unlock doors and stuff. And I walk up to this door, and it's glass, so I can see through it. I'm expecting there to be a computer in there that I have to hack. It's right next to me, and I didn't notice. And I look it up online, and I'm looking at a walkthrough, and it's like, okay, go through the door. It's so obvious that they don't even explain it because no one could possibly get stuck at that part. That's the part I get stuck on. So I don't know what it is about it. If I know what I'm supposed to be doing, I can do it. I can play games where there's lots of puzzles, but I just get lost in the most basic things. But I came up with a list of some of the stuff I played recently. Batman, both the Telltale version and the Arkham Knight is the one I was thinking of. Mafia trilogy, I played that whole series. I really liked it. That Star Wars game, Fallen Jedi, I think it was called. Crash 4, Fallout 4, Spider-Man. I got a PS5 so I can catch up on all the PS4 exclusives I didn't get. So I'm playing Spider-Man 2. So that's the stuff I've been playing recently. Next question is from Josh, who says, I wanted to know if feeble grinds were a thing on ledges and half-pipe copings, since it seems you have to have your wheels drop down below the thing you're grinding, which you can't do if it's a ledge. I mean, that's the case if it's a flat bar, like the nose has to dip down for it to look right, but you can definitely do it on a pool. Like, look up feeble on a pool, and you will see all kinds of them. They're leaning back still once they reach the coping, so it's kind of like they're grinding on a triangle, because their weight's still leaning in, and you can lock in on it. But doing it on a ledge can definitely be done. I will show you a couple examples in a second. And it can be really cool. You just have to really do it right. If you don't do it right, it looks terrible. And if you do it right, it can be really cool. And it's rare, and I think it's worth doing, because when you see one done well, it's really impressive and you don't expect it. So one thing that happens to me sometimes, I'll try to do a 50-50 on a box or whatever, and my front wheel will barely miss the coping, and the board will start to roll this way, and eventually it spins more and more and more, then I can pop it off, which is a feeble grind technically, but it's not tweaked at all. If your wheel is right up to the coping and the truck is turned, it's pinched and everything, and you can hold it out, that's pretty cool. But yeah, you have to do it right. So a couple examples were Mike Carroll in Yeah Right. He does a really good one right here. And the other one I came across was Brady Albright in Clean, which is also a really good one. He does it just like it's on a ramp. So yeah, you can do a feeble on a quarter pipe or a pool or whatever really easily, but doing it on a ledge is hard. There is a Ride Channel trick tip for it. I can't show you a clip of that because the Ride Channel always copyright claims everything that I've ever tried to use from them, so you'll have to look that up. But it's a cool trick. It feels cool if you get it right. I have done front feebles. I've never done a back feeble on a ledge, I don't think, but I have done front feebles. And when you pinch the wheel and your board's kind of flat, but you can see the wheel kind of out like that, and your front foot's kind of straight and kind of poked out like that as you grind it out, it feels cool. It's worth learning, I think. Okay, next question is from Matt, who says, "Hey Rad Rat, as a fellow freestyle skater, what do you think about the current generation of skateboarding games possibly incorporating freestyle tricks into the games? I'm not talking about the freestyle tricks in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, where they are essentially manual variations, but independent altogether. So Casper's, Walk the Dog, rail flips, all that kind of stuff. Would anyone besides you and I enjoy that?" I gave this some thought. So if you, in the Tony Hawk games, Tony Hawk 4, I think, has a first freestyle contest in London, I think. You have to do a freestyle thing, and it's just, you just tap square, square, triangle, square, circle, 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 triangle, like all of the different combinations just put you in a new thing. And they don't flow together at all. It's not like there's a custom animation for switching from this to this. It always just like, you just kind of go back to manual and then start the trick over again. It's really basic. There's not much of a need for it to be in the game. It's just a way to squeeze out some more tricks while you have a flat patch to skate. There's really not much of a purpose for those. I was thinking about how you would do that in a sim game, because and how would it be scored? Because just the amount of control that you have is not very much. If you want to do a Casper in Skater XL, you'd like pop the tail, do a kickflip, and then like catch it and then lean down on your back foot or something. It would be really hard to figure that out. But if you could, or if it was just like a more traditional control type of game, I was thinking of a couple ways that you could score it. The first would be like in actual freestyle contests. So the way it's been for about 40 years, and they haven't changed anything, is professional level freestyle contests. You show up, you bring a song on a CD. I mean, you might be able to use an MP3 now. I mean, let's get with the times here. You have a song that you're going to skate to, and you base your run on the song. And so if there's a slow part, like a slow building part, you might do like a G-turn. That's where you do like a turning. You do a nose manual and you turn with it and try to do like a full U-turn in a nose manual, which is pretty tough. Or you'll do, more footwork type stuff that's kind of slow, and then it builds up to this big thing, and that's where you flip it and you catch it in whatever on the truck or in a Casper or something like that. And if you could find a way to do that in a video game where it's more of a to the music type of thing, where like a Guitar Hero, like you switch your tricks right at the right moment, something like that might be doable. It would be kind of weird, and it would have to be a separate thing from the main game. If the new Tony Hawk game, if Tony Hawk the sequel comes out next year, it wouldn't be like something you can just do in your run. It would be like a separate story thing, I think, where it plays a little bit different. It has to be. The other thing would be having some kind of art score, and I'm not sure how this would even work, but having a good variety of different tricks, or maybe the opposite, maybe specializing in certain tricks and doing like all of the combos in this one category, and then again, maybe there's some kind of component to matching the music. If it's more aggressive, you can do these certain tricks. If there's some way to score that way, I think that would be good. But yeah, being able to like balance a manual in all the sim games isn't really a thing. Balancing grinds and balancing manuals, they essentially just don't do that anymore. So it can't be balance based. You can't just be, in Tony Hawk maybe, just controlling your balance while hitting combos. It has to be more than that, because that's not very fun. There may be a way to do that, but we'll see. I doubt it'll happen. In the Tony Hawk remake recently, a lot of the tricks are just wrong. Some of the special tricks are wrong. The nollie laser flip is still wrong. It's like a nollie varial heel late shove it. There's lots of really weird stuff in that. I don't think I would trust them with freestyle. They would just do everything wrong. Last question for today is from Nikkei, who says, do you think it would be worth expanding trick sets for things like Bonelesses and no complies in sim games? I've always enjoyed their addition in Skate, even if the implementation was fairly bare bones or didn't look great, but it feels like fans ignore them entirely for just ollies and the standard set of flip shove tricks. I'd love to see more, but it feels like it would be a harder sell in development. I agree. No complies in Skate are terrible. You like start to push and then you pop as you're pushing, so you have to push Mongo. Then as you're doing a Mongo push, you ollie, and it does not look the way a no comply looks at all. So I would never do them. Like if you spin in a no comply, if you do like a spin front side in one, the board pops up between your legs, then you jump and kind of pull it back to catch up to it. That's a cool looking trick. In Skate, you would push, start going, and then you pop, and then the board flattens out, and then you spin. It doesn't look right at all. If there was a way to do that, I think it would be really cool. So like if you start to push and then you pop, you can pop off to the side and then it'll flip. So you can do like a no comply front side heel flip. I mean, they're all pressure, but you know, or like a big spin flip or all kinds of different stuff. If it looked good, I think that would be awesome. I think that would be great. The only thing I would do in Skate is like plants. So I would, you know, if there's a big gap that I want to clear and there's a bench in the middle, I might ollie, do like a fast plant in the middle, then jump off. That looked cool. But that was about it. Doing a boneless, again, kind of the same problem. It was just kind of awkward and weird, and you couldn't really do anything with it. It was just a boneless. You could hold the grab and do like a hand flip, but it wouldn't be like a boneless finger flip. It would be like two separate things. I think if they added that in and they really did it well and animated it all, that would be a big help. So in Skater XL, for example, lots of tricks missing. If they were to drop something like that, like a separate system where the physics of how you pop it controls the way the board moves and all that, that would be a way to stand out from the crowd. You know, the crowd being Session and Skate 4 as those come out. I would like to imagine that Skate 4 is going to do some interesting things. I can't imagine they're just going to import the trick set from Skate 3 and that's it. They've got to add some more stuff, and maybe that'll be it. That would be great, but I guess we'll see. So that's it for now. If you have questions, go to radratvideo.com and submit them. There's a form right there on the homepage. Sends me an email. I will see your question definitely. You can also submit them through Patreon, and I will 100% answer you, whether it's in a email or on video. Depends on what the question is about. But yeah, that's it for now. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.